What's going on, you guys? I'm Ronnie,
This is Amanda.
and this is Ground Zero.
Welcome to Ground Zero.
Alright, welcome back, you guys. In tonight's episode, we are going to be talking about Dogman Sightings. Dogman?
Dogman.
Dogman Sightings?
Dogman. Because there's multiple.
Right.
Dogman.
So we have, I think, 3 different stories from Reddit that we're going to talk about.
And a true story that Ronnie experienced.
Yeah, we'll get into that one at the end. These are all kind of pretty crazy, and I guess a dog...
Well, I guess they're all true.
Yeah. Maybe we should kind of clarify what a dogman is. Because, like, a lot of people, I guess, think that a werewolf and a dogman's kind of the same thing. But I guess the werewolf is more of like the mythical, fake version of a dogman, I guess. Like, I guess a dogman can't shapeshift. It's just its own thing. And a werewolf shapeshifts into the wolf, I think.
A man to a werewolf.
Right. But a dogman is just a dogman, I think. Maybe. Anyway. So, a couple of these are anonymous on here. We could start with this short story. It says, when I was about 3, I spent a lot of time at my grandmother's. One night I woke up to an odd sound. It was almost like a moaning, but more of a growl. I looked over in the direction of the noise, and there was something in the room with us. At first, I decided I was dreaming, and my 3-year-old imagination was running wild. It didn't go away though. It was slowly approaching me, and I didn't want to wake my grandmother up for fear of her having a heart attack. I guess so. This thing was humanoid with charred skin, claws for fingers, and a growling voice.
So it was like, it didn't have fur?
I
It was
guess,
just
I don't know, I guess not.
It's
It
like
says-
a huge Chinese crested dog.
Yeah,
That's what I'm picturing.
but kind of like a man.
Yeah.
I
like
guess.
a Chinese crested monster man.
Yeah, it said charred skin though. Like, was it set on fire by something?
Maybe it had mange.
Oh yeah, could have. Yeah,
It sounds like mange.
yeah. Let's see. I decided to test it to see if it was real, but touching it was out of the question. I took my sock off and swung at it, at its claws, as if moving close, or as it was moving closer to me. The sock hit the claw. I felt the weight of the sock resting on its claws. I ducked back under the covers and just went back to sleep. I have no idea what it did or why it was there. I don't know, that's just crazy to me.
That's a brave little kid.
Yeah. And it says that I can say that if I ever saw it again, I would hopefully have the strength to face it, but I couldn't say for sure. Now it's crazy because at
But it
3
was
years
a
old,
dog man like creature.
that's what it's, I guess that's
Without
what it's
fur?
trying to say. It said humanoid with charred skin, claws like fingers, and a growling voice. So could it have been like a mangy dog man? The creepy thing was is it was inside the house, and I guess there was obviously no evidence of it like ripping into the house. So I don't know.
It was just there.
Yeah.
Mm.
I don't know. This is another Reddit story from Eleanor. Let's see. I posted this before, but would be happy to share this story again. It was wintertime, so it was completely dark by 7:30. I was heading to work, and my brain was just kind of idling along in neutral. I turned from one road onto another, and off to the right of the vehicle I see out of the corner of my eye in my peripheral vision. It seemed to be a huge dog, easily twice the size of a large German Shepherd. The fur on it was very strange, very long, shiny, and moving strangely. I mean, the fur itself was moving strangely. It's hard to accurately explain it. It was almost like the creature was underwater. That was what made me turn to look at it. So I'm looking at what seems to be this huge dog when it stands up on two legs and rushes towards the truck I was driving. I didn't stick around to find out what it wanted. I noped out of there and continued my trip to work. For the longest time, I couldn't figure out what the heck I had seen. The only thing to come to my mind was a werewolf, but that was silly. Then I read about dogmen and now believe that that was what I seen. Strangely enough, directly across the road from where I had seen the thing, there was a house that no one seemed to live in for a very long time. It makes me wonder if that creature had anything to do with it. For years after that, I could not bring myself to drive through that particular spot without locking my car doors and rolling up the windows. Whatever it was, it thought it could take my truck in a fight.
Wanted to fight the truck.
I guess, or like rip into it. I don't know. It said the fur was moving like it was underwater.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Like that weird flowing, I don't know, underwater like the Little Mermaid.
Yeah. The Little Mermaid.
I don't know. That's just what I'm thinking. Like you're underwater and your hair's like waving all, I don't know, slow motion like.
I don't know. What if there's like multiple dimensions, right?
Yeah.
And it's in one of these dimensions,
Okay.
but somehow crosses over into ours.
Right. And it's
like in their dimension,
like the atmosphere would make its fur
something, yeah,
moving that way.
yeah. Like, I don't know.
That's crazy. I mean, yeah. It's almost like it was like if they do come from a different dimension, it would be like them holding on to their atmosphere somehow in our atmosphere. That would be trippy.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess you never know how things are.
Right.
Other dimensions and how they can like come into our dimension
I don't know.
I don't know.
It's just like portals maybe pop up and they could just like move through them, like
Maybe.
interstate systems or something.
Yeah. I don't know. Who knows?
Let's see, I got this other one here. Okay, this Reddit story is by The Peaceful Teacher. It says, this is a combo UFO Dogman story.
Heck yeah.
So we're fixing to nosedive into some crazy stuff. Alright, it says, I'm not sure they are connected, but after some years passed, I realized they may well have been. It was the summer of 1977 in Sioux City, and I was spending time with my boyfriend at his house before we both left for separate colleges. We had spent the entire day doing activities, and so when we finally sat down to watch a movie that night, we were both exhausted. The last I remember was saying how bad the movie was, and I was out. Seems he fell asleep too. I had always been home on time, so when I woke up to see that it was 3 o'clock in the morning, I about died.
Uh-oh.
I furiously woke him up and threw on my shoes, etc., and headed to my car saying bye as I ran. Being the good guy, he shouted for me to wait and he would follow me home. So off we went, me trying to come up with a better story than falling asleep when I see something bright in the sky. It looked like a star, but then dropped down as we headed up a hill now only about 200 feet in the sky. As we drove, it seemed to continue to be right overhead. I kept looking back to see if my boyfriend saw it, and I saw him leaning down trying to see above him. I hit the gas and started moving as fast as a Pinto would go.
It's a pinto.
It's an old car.
Pinto bean?
Yeah. I was thanking God for the thick trees that made an archway over the road. Those are always nice. Those archways over the road is like going through a tunnel.
Yeah.
So it didn't have to see where it. Oh, so I didn't have to see where it was. So I guess she was terrified. It was like following them or something. I finally reached my house and pulled in the driveway. I ran to his car and said, "Did you see that?" He said a string of cuss words and sounded as scared as me. I said, "Get home, but drive another route," waved, and ran into cover.
I bet he was terrified riding back.
Yeah, the
home
whole
by
way
himself.
after seeing that, by himself. It's like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. My parents were asleep, so I avoided confrontation until the morning. Even so, I was too freaked out to sleep and spent the time looking out my window every few minutes, hoping not to see another moving star. When I called my boyfriend the next day, he sounded very strange. He was hesitant to tell me what was bothering him, but I told him whatever it was, I would believe it at this point. He said when he got home, he was cleaning the house for his parents' return the next morning. He lived in a very wooded area with Perry Creek running behind his backyard a few miles from me. Suddenly, he noticed his dog was acting oddly. It ran throughout the house barking, running over the furniture, which it had never done before. Eventually stopped in the dark kitchen facing the glass sliding doors. The dog was then frozen with his nose straight out against the glass, almost looking like a pointer, even though he was a shepherd. He stopped the vacuum and stared at the dog, unsure why he was acting so strangely. He admitted it scared him when the dog didn't budge when he spoke to it. He slowly walked to the door and tried to see what was causing the excitement. Maybe a skunk or coyote or something. He saw a very large, dark shape, almost like an oversized man hunching towards the door about 12 feet out. He could make out the dog's ears on top of its head, but he wasn't sure what to do. He wasn't sure if it was the moonlight playing tricks on him, so he slowly reached for the outside light and slid open the door. The minute he looked out, he saw whatever it was give him a menacing grin with a full mouth of teeth.
No.
Yeah.
No.
So, yeah.
No.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
I'd be dead.
Yeah.
I would just die.
So when he saw this, whatever this was, with a menacing grin and a full mouth of teeth, turn and go from 2 legs to 4 legs and bound in 2 large leaps down the embankment leading to the creek, it growled as it went. He said it had very dark brown to black hair, and the back legs were like dog legs. He asked me if I thought it was some kind of mutated wolf, for the lack of a better name.
Not to be standing on 2 legs.
No, and then
and grinning at him.
Yeah,
No. No.
I said, your dog would have asked to go outside and tore it to shreds if it was any kind of animal.
Mm-hmm.
His dog was pretty scary itself and meaner than most. I thought the whole story was unnerving and bizarre, but he refused to talk about it again. The weekend before we left for school, he had driven to a country road not far from his home and drove down a lane into a field with tall corn all around us to talk and look at the stars. After discussing whether we wanted to sit on the hood, he quickly said no. Let's just look out the windshield. So we put the seats back a bit and we were enjoying just being in the moment. The coyotes were out and lots of cicadas and insect noises going on, when suddenly it all stopped. It was rather eerie, and I looked at him and he had a look of fear on his face. He said, something feels wrong, we better go. So he was about to start up his car when the largest dog thing I had ever seen went running by a couple rows of corn to our left. It kept running and was out of sight in seconds. I asked him if he had seen that, and he said no. But he backed down that little lane so fast I thought we were going to end up off the road and stuck. He spun out of there fast. We don't have any wolves in western Iowa, was my thought to myself. He broke up with me that Sunday. I saw him one time in a bar at home 6 months ago. Or 6 months later.
Rude.
Yeah.
Wait, he broke up with her?
Yeah, so that's
Because-
kind of strange.
Because they saw Dogman?
I guess, I don't know. It's kind of strange.
Hmm.
Says he was polite and said hi, but that was it. I always wondered if that fact I knew all this crazy stuff had happened to him had something to do with it. What a weird summer. No worries. I met my husband a couple months later. Did the UFO drop this thing off near his house? I guess dropped a werewolf off around him? Were the two unrelated? Like seeing a UFO and seeing a dogman unrelated? Or did it
Could
drop?
be.
I don't know.
Maybe aliens are picking up these creatures from different planets and
Putting
this
them
would be
here?
funny.
Yeah, let's see what happens. A big
Let's
experiment.
go put this dog creature on Earth.
Yeah. And they
And see what
start
happens.
breeding, and now we have dogman problems.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, what if dogmen are just inbreds? Like someone just interbred with a wolf or something.
That would be crazy. Yeah. I don't know. But then there's so many other things out there. It makes me think that dogmen are just a thing.
Yeah.
Because the crawlers and the other humanoids and aliens and all these different species makes me think they exist like everything else does.
Yeah. I mean, you saw one.
Yeah. I guess we could talk about that one, right?
Right. Do you have any more on there?
That was the last one that I have on here.
Mm-hmm.
I know. You guys got to submit your stories to us. You can submit them at groundzeropodcast@gmail.com, or we're on Facebook at Ground Zero Content. Anywhere on social media, if you just want to DM us.
Any stories.
Any stories. Just strange stories. Email us, DM us, whatever you want to do. We'd love to read your stories. So I guess we could talk about my experience and what happened at the house that we were in.
Do it.
Okay, here we go. So let's start off by saying that there was a couple different occurrences at that house, but we'll just focus on the Dogman Hellhound thing that I saw. Okay, I think it was probably back in 2016, maybe.
I have no idea.
Somewhere around there. It was a house that we were living at before, and that was at least 2016. I was at home, Amanda was at work, and I guess I was just busy cleaning up around the house, doing laundry, starting to put clothes away. And our bedroom was upstairs, and the AC really sucked, and it was summertime, so I had to have the windows open to kind of get a breeze to cool off the upstairs. And I just started hearing this weird growl, like odd sound. Something I've never heard before, and it's hard to really describe what it was. It was just a weird growl.
Well, you should mention too that we were on 12 acres,
Yeah.
so we were surrounded by woods.
Yeah, we were completely surrounded by woods. The front yard was more opened up, just had some big trees, but the rest of the
Really
property
big yard.
was, yeah. The rest of the property was pretty heavily wooded. And, we did have coyotes and stuff out there, and that sound was pretty recognizable, but this one was just a weird growl that I'd never heard before. And it was odd enough that it caught my attention, and I had to stop what I was doing and poke my head out the window and just listen. So I'm sitting there and I'm just listening, and I could hear it getting closer and closer, and I could tell that it's coming from like the thick woods. And as it's getting closer, I could tell that it's going to be coming into the clearing in the front yard. So I'm just waiting for it. And out of nowhere, there it is. It's coming into the clearing. I could see it. And the only way to describe it is a dog man. Like, it was so bizarre. And it was I don't know, it was kind of like you're just in shock seeing it. You can't take your eyes off of it. And I kind of wish that I would have thought to take a video or a picture or something of what I was seeing, but in that moment you're just in shock. But as it was coming into the clearing and it's walking past some of these trees in the front yard, I was kind of able to size it up later on that day when it was gone. But it was on all fours walking, and it was probably about 5 to 6 feet from the ground to its shoulders. Just the shape of it, though, had that classic Dogman werewolf kind of look. It was pretty thin. The fur was thicker around its chest and its back, and then it thinned out on its legs. But another crazy thing about it was that weird growling sound also had a higher pitch growling sound, and as it came into the clearing, that higher pitch sound was a pup that was following behind it.
Yeah, that's really crazy. I wish I was there
I know.
to see that.
It was like unreal. You know, and back before that happened, you know, I don't know that I would actually believe in Dogman or werewolves or anything. You know, I guess I would question it more, but then after seeing it, it's, you know, it's stuck in your head. You know what you saw, and it was real. But after that, I was kind of sketched out, and I was like, I don't think I want to come outside at night without something to protect myself. But it was crazy.
And he said the legs even bent like, not like a dog, but more like ours do.
Yeah, that's what was weird. The joints were more like how humans are, but it was on all fours, but you could kind of see that if it wanted to stand and walk on two legs, that it could.
Yeah.
Just the way that its joints were moving, and I don't know. It was so crazy.
I wish you just would have had your phone like in your pocket or
I
right
know,
there.
I know. It would have been so awesome. And I don't know, sometimes it makes me want to go back out there and see if we can come across something like that again, but I don't know. Or ask the people living there now if they've seen anything.
Yeah.
That would be really cool. But if they haven't, we would probably freak them out.
Mm-hmm.
Be like, what?
Well, I want to know if they have anything paranormal going on like we did at
Yeah.
that house.
Yeah.
That house was just weird.
That was a crazy house. Of course, we will do a separate one dedicated to just the paranormal stuff that happened.
We have one up about it, but I don't think we really went into much detail.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to redo it.
Yeah. I think that would be better.
And there's some things that we remembered that I don't think we mentioned.
Yeah. I mean, there was so much, and it's just like trying to remember all this stuff. You know, it's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll definitely dedicate a whole episode just for that one. But yeah, like I said, if you guys want to, if you have stories of your own and you would like to submit them, you could submit them at groundzeropodcasts@gmail.com, or any social media if you want to message us on that. We definitely would love to read your stories. Anything strange, unusual, scary, we're all about it.
Yes.
You want to wrap it up?
Sure.
All right, guys, that's going to do it for tonight's episode. We appreciate all your support. If you want to subscribe to our YouTube channel, you can. Like it, ring the bell so you don't miss any content. We appreciate all you guys. Good night.